Stepping into a seemingly ordinary school, I discovered a crowd of extraordinary alphas waiting. Their eyes locked on me like spotlights in a noir film, cutting through the fluorescent haze of Lincoln High's lobby, and I swear the air thickened with something primal, electric. Fresh meat. One of them drawled, voice low and laced with that Chicago edge, half threat, half tease. And before I could bolt, the pack closed in, sealing my fate with grins that promised chaos and secrets I'd never unsee. It was my first day at Lincoln High. Transferred in from some podunk suburb after Dad's latest job shuffle landed us in the South Side. I was Alex Rivera, 17 and invisible by design. Faded jeans, hoodie pulled low, the kind of kid who blended into lockers like camouflage. But these guys, they were anything but. 5 of them, maybe 6, sprawled against the trophy case like they owned the joint. Tattoos peeking from rolled sleeves, hair styled in that effortless mess that screamed, "We don't care, but we do." And yeah, they were all gay, or at least that's the vibe that hit me like a sucker punch. Not the flamboyant kind from bad teen movies, but alphas in the rawest sense. Confident, unapologetic, the type who turned heads and broke hearts without trying. The one who'd spoken stepped forward, all 6 foot something of him, broad shoulders filling out a leather jacket that looked vintage, like it had stories etched into the seams. Theodore Kane. I didn't know his name yet, but I'd learn it soon enough, whispered like a legend in the girls' bathroom stalls. His eyes were hazel, flecked with gold that caught the light, and his smile, God, that smile was a weapon, crooked and knowing, like he could read the confusion swirling in my gut. "Name's Theo," he said, extending a hand that swallowed mine whole. His grip was firm, warm, lingering just a beat too long. "You look lost, newbie. Need a guide." I mumbled something about being fine, but my voice cracked like cheap glass, and the pack chuckled. Low, rumbling, not mocking exactly, but testing. That's when I noticed Nolan, hanging back on the edge of the group. He was slighter than the others, with messy blonde curls and wire-rimmed glasses that made him look like the smart kid in a John Hughes flick. His eyes darted to mine, quick and curious, a flicker of something softer in the alpha storm. "Ignore these idiots," he said, shoving his hands in his pockets. "They're all bark. Come on. I'll show you to homeroom before they eat you alive." Nolan Hayes became my lifeline that first week. He was a junior like me, out since freshman year, and he navigated Lincoln's minefield of cliques and closet cases with the ease of someone who'd mapped every trap. We'd grab greasy slices from Gino's after school, perched on the fire escape of his walk-up in Pilsen, trading stories about shitty parents and dreams that felt too big for the city. Mine was escaping to NYU Film School, capturing the grit of Chicago on celluloid. His, becoming a graphic novelist, drawing worlds where underdogs like us didn't just survive, they ruled. The alphas, Theo's pack, weren't just a crew. They were a force. There was Marcus, the artist with sleeves of murals inked on his arms, always sketching in the margins of his notebook. Javier, the basketball star who came out mid-dunk and still drained threes like it was nothing. And Lena, yeah, one queen in the mix, fierce with her buzz cut and combat boots, the one who organized underground poetry slams in abandoned warehouses. They called themselves the Pack, a nod to some half-joking Omegaverse lore they'd adopted from online forums. But it fit. They protected their own through the best parties in basements that reeked of weed and rebellion. And yeah, they scared the shit out of me. But Theo, he unraveled me slow. It started with glances in the hall, his shoulder brushing mine in crowded stairwells, sending sparks I tried to ignore. I'd never thought about guys that way. Girls, sure. Awkward crushes on the debate team captain back home. But Theo's laugh, deep and unfiltered, echoed in my dreams. One night, after a pack bonfire in Jackson Park where we burned effigies of our exes, mine was a crumpled photo of my high school girlfriend, who'd ghosted me. He walked me to the L station. The air was crisp, leaves crunching under our boots, the distant wail of sirens a Chicago lullaby. "You're different, Alex," he said, stopping under a street lamp that haloed his face in amber. "Not like the straight boys who stumble in here pretending. You see us, really see us." His hand grazed my arm, and I froze, pulse thundering. Then he leaned in, breath minty from the stolen sips of bourbon, and kissed me. Soft at first, questioning, then deeper like he'd been starving. The world tilted, fireworks, earthquakes, all that rom-com bullshit, and I kissed back, tasting freedom and fear in equal measure. That was the hook sunk deep. By week 3 I was in. Dinners at Theo's aunt's brownstone in Bronzeville, where soul food plates piled high with fried chicken and collards became our ritual. Nolan would tease us over Jenga towers that always toppled, his laughter a buffer against the intensity of Theo's gaze. "You two are disgusting," he'd groan, but his eyes sparkled, like he was living vicariously through our stolen moments. The hand-holding under cafeteria tables, the notes passed in AP Lit quoting Ginsberg, but cracks formed early, hairline fractures I ignored. Whispers in the locker room about Theo's ex, some golden boy who'd transferred out after a scene. Nolan's late nights, phone buzzing with texts he hid. And me? I was lying to my dad, the stoic ex-cop who thought faggot was still a punchline, not a slur. Every study session at Nolan's was a tightrope walk, heart in my throat as I dodged his questions about why I was glowing. Fall turned to winter, the windy city burying us in gray slush. The pack threw a Yule bash in an old speakeasy basement, fairy lights strung like stars, hip-hop remixed with jazz pulsing through the walls. Theo pulled me onto the makeshift dance floor, his body fitting against mine like it was made for it. We swayed, oblivious, until a crash shattered the mood. Some redneck from the football team buzzed on cheap beer, shoving Javier against the bar. "Freak show," he slurred, and the pack surged. I dove in without thinking, tackling the guy as Theo hauled Javier up. Fists flew, glass broke, and suddenly sirens wailed again. Closer this time. We scattered like roaches, me and Theo sprinting through alleys slick with ice, laughing breathless until we collapsed against a chain-link fence in an empty lot. "My hero," he murmured, pulling me close, our foreheads touching. In that moment, under the sodium glow, I knew I'd burn the world for him. But heroes fall. The fallout hit Monday. Suspensions threatened, parents called. My dad grounded me for a month, his face thunderous as he lectured about getting mixed up with hoodlums. Theo's aunt bailed him out with charm and connections. But Nolan vanished. Texts unanswered, desk empty. I cornered Marcus in the art room, paint-splattered smock hiding his bruises. "Nolan's fine," he said, evasive. "Family stuff. Lay off." I didn't. That night, I biked through the snow to Nolan's building, knuckles raw from pounding on the buzzer. His mom let me in, eyes red-rimmed, smelling of menthols. Upstairs, Nolan huddled on his bed, sketchpad clutched like a shield. "What the hell, man?" I demanded, shedding my wet jacket. "You ghost us after the fight? We needed you." He looked up, curls matted, glasses fogged. "Needed me? For what, Alex? To watch you and Theo play house while I pick up the pieces." His voice cracked, venomous. I reeled. Jealousy? Nolan, my best friend, the one who'd held my hand through my first panic attack after coming out to myself in Theo's arms. "You've got no idea," he spat. "Theo's using you, just like he used me." The words landed like a gut punch. Used? Theo and Nolan? Before me? I stormed out, snow stinging my cheeks, mind reeling. Lies I told myself. Sour grapes. But doubt festered, a poison ivy vine twisting through my chest. The next day, I confronted Theo in the boiler room, our secret spot, where the hum of pipes drowned out whispers. He was waiting, backpack slung low, that damn smile fading as he read my face. "What's eating you?" he asked, stepping close. "Nolan said." I choked, hating how small I sounded. "He said you too. That I'm just the rebound." Theo's jaw tightened, eyes darkening like storm clouds over Lake Michigan. "Nolan's full of shit. He had a crush, yeah. Pushed too hard, too fast. I turned him down gentle as I could. He's twisting it, 'cause he can't stand seeing us happy." He cupped my face, thumbs brushing my cheeks. "You're not a rebound, Alex. You're the real deal. The one who makes me want to fight for mornings, not just nights." I wanted to believe him. God, I did. We kissed then, fierce and forgiving, hands roaming under hoodies but stopping at the line. Always stopping because this was us building something real, not burning out. But Nolan's words echoed, a ghost in the steam. Weeks blurred. Stolen lunches, packed game nights with Mario Kart marathons and Theo's head on my shoulder. Spring teased with crocuses pushing through concrete, and I let myself dream. A summer road trip down Route 66. Just us, no secrets. Nolan drifted back. Apologies mumbled over pizza. Sketches of us as superheroes taped to his locker. Forgiveness came easy, he was family. But on the night, as we slipped in through the service entrance, Theo's hand in mine, pulse racing with mischief, the lights flickered. Not our doing. Whispers rippled, then gasps. Overhead projector, meant for slideshows of senior memories, blared to life. And there, splashed across the ballroom wall for 500 kids to see. Photos. Me and Theo kissing in the park. Nolan and I hugging on the fire escape. Private texts, pixelated but unmistakable. I love you, from Theo to me. A screenshot of Nolan's old DM begging for a chance. The room erupted. Laughter from the jocks. Horrified stares from the pious crowd. Teachers scrambling for the plug. I stood frozen, Theo's grip crushing my fingers, as the alpha in me shattered. Betrayal, raw and jagged, carved into my bones. Nolan. It had to be him. Access to our phones during that harmless sleepover. His sketches hiding malware apps he'd joked about downloading. We bolted, the pack in tow, spilling into the rain-lashed streets of the loop. Theo roared curses, punching a lamppost until his knuckles bled. Lena hugged me tight, whispering, "We're still us, baby." But I wrenched free, sprinting blind toward Nolan's block, fury a wildfire in my veins. He was on the rooftop, our old haunt, chain smoking under the water tower, city lights sprawling below like a glittering trap. Rain sheeted down, soaking us both as I charged him. "You motherfucker!" I screamed, shoving him hard. He stumbled, glasses slipping, but didn't fight back. Just stood there, soaked and sorry, eyes hollow. "Why?" I demanded, voice breaking. "We were brothers, Nolan. I trusted you." Tears mixed with rain on his face, carving tracks through the grime. "Because I couldn't watch you have what I wanted," he sobbed. "Theo looks at you like you're the sun, Alex. And I'm just the shadow. I thought if I broke it, he'd see me. Or if not him, then you'd, I don't know, hate me enough to let go." The fight drained out, leaving me hollow. I sank to my knees, rain pooling around me, the skyline blurring. Betrayal wasn't just the act. It was the unraveling of everything we'd built. Theo found us there, bursting through the access door, coat flapping like a cape. He hauled Nolan up by the collar, fury blazing, but I stopped him. "Don't," I whispered. "He's broken already." We dragged Nolan down, the three of us a sodden mess in his tiny apartment. Confessions spilled like the storm outside. Nolan's loneliness, the ache of unrequited love, the pack's fractures we'd all ignored. Theo held me as I shook, his "I love you," an anchor in the gale. By dawn, Nolan was packed. His mom had a cousin in Seattle, a fresh start. Hugs were awkward, promises to text fragile as wet paper. Summer came slow, healing in fits. Theo and I rebuilt. Picnics in Millennium Park, sketching each other under the bean, his fingers tracing my scars. Not the visible ones, but the ones inside. The pack mended too, stronger, boundaries redrawn. Dad found out eventually, over burnt burgers on the grill. His silence stretched, then cracked with a gruff. "As long as he treats you right, kid. Progress, Chicago style." Nolan's letters arrived sporadic, sketches of rainy coasts and new friends. Whispers of forgiveness earned the hard way. We weren't the same pack, but we were human, flawed, fierce, finding our way. And in the quiet nights, Theo's arm around me, I realized, alphas aren't born. They're forged in the fire of what breaks us. The rooftop apology lingered like smoke, but life at Lincoln didn't pause for our drama. Prom fallout rippled, counseling sessions with the guidance counselor who eyed us like we were a public service announcement. Assemblies on tolerance that felt more like damage control. The straight kids split. Some sneered, others nodded in solidarity. A few even joined our lunch table, curious as kittens. Theo thrived on it, turning whispers into roars with his Instagram stories. Queer art collectives, drag brunches at Big Chicks. Own the narrative, he'd say, kissing my temple. Or it'll own you. I tried, but doubt gnawed a rat in the walls. Was I really cut out for this? The pack's energy was intoxicating, but exhausting, always on, always visible. My camera became my shield, lens capturing stolen frames of Theo laughing mid-bite of a hot dog at Portillo's, Nolan's empty desk like a ghost frame. I'd edit late into the night, Chicago's skyline my backdrop, turning pain into pixels. One humid June afternoon, Theo dragged me to Wicker Park for a street fest. Food trucks belching falafel fumes, bands blaring indie rock that vibrated in your chest. The pack was there, Lena voguing to a remix of Vogue, Javier flirting shamelessly with a barista. Nolan's absence was a hole, but we'd video called him that morning. His new apartment a mess of unpacked boxes and ocean views. Miss you assholes, he'd grinned, holding up a sketch of the pack as mermaids. Don't fuck it up without me. Theo bought me a leather bracelet from a vendor, engraved with Alpha Heart. For the guy who tamed the wild one, he murmured, buckling it on. We wandered, hands linked, until dusk painted the sky bruise purple. In a quiet alley off Damon, away from the throng, he backed me against brick, kissing me slow, deliberate. You're my anchor, Alex, he breathed. In all this storm, heat flushed me, but it was comfort, not fire, deep, steady. We talked futures then, sprawled on a stoop with melting Italian ice from Mario's. NYU for me, Columbia for him, design school, channeling his chaos into graphics. We'll subway it on weekends, he promised. L rides and rooftop picnics. Dreams felt tangible, close enough to touch. But Chicago doesn't do easy. Dad's promotion meant another move, Milwaukee of all places, bland as Wonder Bread. He dropped it over dinner, fork scraping his plate. Better pay, son. Stability. I stared, burger congealing. Stability? After I just clawed my way out of the closet. Built this fragile empire? Theo took it harder, storming the lakefront that night, skipping stones into the black water. Fuck stability, he growled. We're not done. We weren't. That summer was our rebellion. A beat-up Impala borrowed from Javier's uncle. Route 66 calling like a siren. We mapped it loose. St. Louis Arch at dawn. Cadillac Ranch graffiti in the Texas Panhandle. Motels with neon signs flickering like fireflies. Nolan shipped care packages. Comics of our road trip as epic quest. Notes scrawled in margins. Don't forget the snacks, heroes. First stop. Springfield, Lincoln's tomb under a sky so blue it hurt. We picnicked on the grass, ants marching over our subs, Theo reciting Gettysburg like poetry. For 7 years ago, he hammed, pulling laughs from me. Nights, we'd park under stars vast as promises, his head on my chest, heartbeat syncing with crickets. This is us, he'd whisper. Unscripted. Oklahoma brought dust, devils, and doubt. A diner in Tulsa, pie cooling on the windowsill, where a trucker at the counter muttered queers under his breath. Theo's jaw clenched, but I squeezed his knee. Let it roll off. Later, in a motel with peeling wallpaper, he broke, tears hot on my shoulder. What if the world's always like this? Hiding, fighting. I held him tighter. Then we fight together. Pack rules. We made love to the hum of the AC. Not urgent, but tender, bodies mapping each other like uncharted roads. Mornings, coffee black as tar, we'd laugh it off stronger. Amarillo's heat wave hit like a fever. We spray-painted our initials on a canyon wall, hearts bold and defiant. That's when my phone buzzed. Dad. Voice tight. Come home, Alex. Jobs waiting in Milwaukee. Real future. I deleted it, but the seed planted. Grand Canyon loomed, Earth's wound gaping under a punishing sun. We hiked rim trails, sweat-soaked, Theo's hand steady in mine. At a viewpoint, tourists milling like ants, he dropped to one knee. Not proposing, thank God, but pulling a Polaroid from his pack. Smile for the memory, he grinned. Click. Us windswept, eternal. Vegas was the fever pitch. Strip lights a migraine blur, slots chiming hollow victories. We blew $20 on blackjack. Theo's luck shit, but his joy infectious. In our room at the Flamingo, flocked wallpaper, mini fridge humming. We danced to radio static, slow and silly. Marry me someday? He joked, spinning me. When we're old and gray, yelling at clouds. I laughed, but it stuck. A vision of forever, rings and vows under Midwest oaks. The drive back was the unraveling. Barstow to Chicago, 5 days of silence stretching like taffy. Dad's calls escalated. Theo's aunt offered her brownstone as sanctuary. Stay, he begged. Parked outside my house, engine idling. We'll figure it. Couldn't. Not yet. College first, I said, kissing him goodbye that tasted like ash. Then us. He nodded, eyes wet. Promise. Pack promise. Fall semester loomed, applications sent like arrows. Nolan visited, bus from Seattle, hugs bone-crushing. Over deep dish at Lou Malnati's he spilled. Therapy. A boyfriend named Kai. Sketches selling online. You're glowing, man. Hold on to it. But holding was slipping. Milwaukee move happened fast. Dad's new precinct. My room a sterile box overlooking Lake Michigan's gray churn. Theo drove up weekends, the I-94 a ribbon of tension. Dinners at Cops, custard dripping, talks turning sharp. You're pulling away, he'd accuse. I'm not, I'd lie. Truth? Fear. The road trip magic faded against homework stacks. Dad's sidelong glances. Nolan texted warnings. Don't ghost him, Alex. Regret's a bitch. Winter solstice. Snow blanketing the lake like funeral shroud. Theo arrived unannounced, boots tracking slush. We bundled in my room, radiator clanking, sharing a thermos of spiked cocoa. Remember Vegas? He murmured, tracing my bracelet. Every neon second. But his eyes searched, probing the lie. Then the bomb. His ex, the golden boy, back in town. Transferred to Lincoln, sniffing around like a bad sequel. Texts I'd glimpsed. Innocent, Theo swore, but doubt flared, Nolan's old poison. I confronted him in a Tim Hortons parking lot, steam fogging windows. Is it him? The one who broke you? Theo ri coi. Jesus, Alex. That's ancient history. Why dredge it? Because I'm scared, I admitted, voice small, of losing you to something easier. He cupped my face, fierce. You're the hardest, best thing I've ever chosen. We made it through, but fractures spiderwebbed. Spring thaw brought cherry blossoms to Grant Park, fragile pink against concrete. NYU acceptance hit, full ride, film program gleaming. Theo's Columbia deferral, gap year to work his aunt's studio. We'll bridge it, he said, but bridges burn. Graduation loomed, caps and gowns a farce. The pack reunited for a last hurrah. Nolan flying in, Lena's warehouse slam packed with originals. Theo read a piece about us. In the shadow of alphas, I found my omega heart, fierce, unyielding. Applause thundered. I cried, ugly and unashamed. But betrayal's echo lingered. Nolan pulled me aside post-reading, face ashen. I saw the texts, Alex. From the ex-Theo's been replying. My world tilted. What? Just watch your back. Jealousy? Or truth? I didn't wait to parse. That night, post-party haze, I cornered Theo on the fire escape. Our spot, now Nolan's old haunt. Rain threatened, air thick. The ex? I said flat. You're talking to him. He sighed. Defeated. He's struggling. Suicidal vibes in his DMs. I'm just being a friend. Friend. Rage boiled. After everything? It's not like that. But his evasion cracked me open. I left, walking miles through the drizzle, heart a lead weight. Nolan waited at his hotel, eyes guilty. I didn't want to hurt you again. Then why tell me? Because I love you both. Deserve better. Morning brought clarity, bitter as black coffee. I met Theo at the Bean, tourists oblivious. Space, I said, till college sorts us. He nodded, shattered. If that's what you need. It was. Summer passed in limbo, internship at a Milwaukee dock shop, editing from clips that stung. Nolan's letters sustained. Growth hurts, but it's the good kind. Fall leaves turned. Me in a Greenwich Village dorm, camera slung like armor. Theo's texts sporadic, then steady. Photos of Columbia Quad. Miss your lens. We rebuilt slow. Weekend Amtraks. Falafel in the village. Talks deep as the Hudson. Betrayal's scar faded to silver. Nolan's visits bridged gaps. His Kai a steady presence. By winter, under tree lights at Rockefeller, Theo knelt again, this time with a key. To my place. Move in sophomore year. I laughed, yes on my lips. Alphas aren't perfect. We're human. And in the mess we find home. College was a whirlwind. A kaleidoscope of subway rumbles and all-nighters fueled by bodega coffee. NYU's Tisch swallowed me whole. Professors dissecting Scorsese like scripture. Dorm mates with accents thicker than fog. I thrived. Lens capturing the village's pulse. Drag queens hawking zines on St. Mark's. Protesters clashing at Union Square. But Theo haunted every frame. A ghost in golden hour light. Our long-distance dance was clumsy at first. Amtrak pulls into Penn Station, his arms engulfing me amid the chaos. Weekend blueprints sketched on napkins. MoMA mornings, dim sum in Chinatown. Columbia's campus was Ivy League crisp. Theo's dorm a riot of sketches pinned to corkboards. Our road trip immortalized in charcoal. Nights, we'd tangle in his twin bed. Whispers weaving futures. Co-op in Brooklyn, joint projects blending film and design. Nolan's orbit stabilized too. Seattle suited him. Rainy days in Kai's studio apartment. Graphic novel pitches landing agents. He crashed our city twice that fall, crashing on my futon with tales of Pacific Northwest queerness. Leather bars in Capitol Hill, pride floats that blocked highways. You two are endgame, he'd declare over beers at McSorley's, clinking bottles. Don't fuck it up with overthinking. But overthinking was my vice. The ex's shadow lingered, a what-if thorn. Theo swore it dead, blocked numbers. Therapy sessions unpacking old wounds. He's poison, Theo admitted one drizzly October. Huddled in Washington Square Park, pigeons scattered as leaves swirled. Pushed me to edges I hated. With you, it's safe harbor. I believed him. Mostly. Trust rebuilt in layers like varnish on raw wood. Thanksgiving pulled me Midwest. Dad's turkey a charred apology for the miles. He was dating. A nurse named Carla, sharp-tongued and warm. Brought you something, he grunted, sliding a manila envelope. Inside. Old Super 8 reels from my childhood. Grainy home movies of lake picnics. Mom's laugh faint but fierce before cancer claimed her. Thought you could. Edge Jing. For keeps. Tears pricked. Progress. I screened them that night in the garage. Projector humming. Dad nursing a hams beside me. She'd like your boy, he said gruff. Theo. Got guts. Christmas was ours. Theo and me. Subletting a walk-up in Bushwick. Tree scavenged from a lot. Ornaments dollar store tacky. The pack descended. Javier fresh from a WNBA draft party. He'd interned with the sky. Lena with her new graphic novel proofs. Marcus shipping canvases for a Soho show. Nolan flew east. Kai in tow. Tall, tattooed, with a grin that disarmed. We crammed around a Formica table. Takeout cartons spilling pad thai. Toasting to the unbreakable pack. Fireworks over the East River at midnight. Theo's kiss tasting of champagne and possibility. This is forever, he murmured, skyline exploding behind us. But forever phrase. Spring semester, my short film premiered at a Tribeca Microfest, Alphas Anonymous. A docu-fiction on queer youth in Chicago, interviews laced with pack cameos. Theo's graphics animated the credits, swirling wolves in urban jungles. Standing ovation, but the Q&A gutted me. A panelist probing betrayal's role in identity. My mind flashed Nolan's rooftop, the rain, the raw. After, in a dive bar on Bleecker, beers sweating rings on coasters, Theo squeezed my hand. Proud of you, filmmaker. But his phone buzzed, unknown number. He silenced it, but I glimpsed. Miss you. Need to talk. R for Ryan, the ex. I yanked away. Again. It's nothing, he insisted, but his evasion was a siren. I stormed into the night, village streets a blur of neon and nausea. Called Nolan from a stoop, voice shaking. He's lying. Still. Nolan's sigh crackled the line. Confront him. Clean. Back at the sublet, dawn creeping, Theo was pacing, face haggard. Ryan's in rehab, he confessed, collapsing beside me. Relapse. Reached out 'cause I sponsored him last year. That's all.
Sponsor?
The word detonated. You never said. Didn't want to drag you in. His eyes pleaded. It's over, Alex. Ancient. But trusts a Jenga tower, one wobble and it crashes. I left for Milwaukee that weekend, Amtrak rattling like judgment. Dad sensed it, offering fishing poles at dawn. Love's a battlefield. Kid, he said, line casting into the mist. Pick your shots. Nolan mediated via Zoom, Kai brewing tea in the background. Theo's solid, he urged. Ryan's his ghost, not his future. Forgive the omission, it's trauma residue. Forgiveness simmered. Summer internship at a Chicago dock house bridged gaps. Me crashing Theo's studio, editing reels side by side. The PAC's annual lakefront barbecue. Grills smoking ribs, volleyball spiking sand. Nolan barbecued, flipping burgers with flair, Kai spiking the punch.
Lauterilde, tentative.
But ghosts resurface. August heat wave, Ryan discharged, spotted at a PAC-adjacent coffee shop in Logan Square. Theo bumped into him. Accidental, he swore, but the photo hit Insta. Arm around shoulder, captions innocuous. PAC comments flooded. Old flames. My gut twisted. I drove up, Impala groaning, confronting in the studio. Easels toppled in the scuffle. Not fists, but words, sharp as switchblades. Am I always second? I yelled. You're first, he roared back. Ryan's wreckage. I'm the survivor. With you, I'm whole. We collapsed, spent, apologies air thick. No more secrets, I demanded. Swear. Fall 2.0 sophomore sink. I sublet into Theo's Columbia orbit. Our Bushwick spot a love nest of exposed brick and half-eaten takeout. Nolan's visits ritualized, Thanksgiving in Seattle, his novel launching to buzz. Kai proposing with a ring etched in code. Your turn next, he winked at us. The PAC evolved. Javier coaching youth hoops, queer inclusive. Lena touring lit fests, book signings in Berlin. Marcus's gallery show, our film projected on loop. Me and Theo? Collab Kings. A short on urban alphas, premiering at Outfest LA. Red carpet nerves. His tux rumpled, my bow tie askew. We made it, he whispered, hand in mine under flashes. But climax crests. Winter break. Chicago calling for a PAC wedding, Lena's, to her poet girlfriend in a Logan Square loft. Snow dusted the altar, vows poetic and profane. Reception raged till 3 a.m., dance floor a sweat-slick frenzy. Mid-waltz, Theo's phone lit. Ryan, one last talk, please. I saw red, snatched it, deleted the thread. Enough, he snatched back, eyes wild. You don't get to control this. Like you control your past? The loft spun, guests blurring. We fled to the rooftop, fate's cruel echo, wind whipping veils. I can't compete with ghosts, I sobbed. You're not competing, he pleaded, pulling me close. He's the chain I broke for you. Nolan found us, Lena in tow. Talk it out, idiots. Circle of truth. Theo spilling Ryan's manipulations, the gaslighting, the suicide threats binding him like barbed wire. I stayed silent to protect you, he admitted. Vulnerability cracked me open. I need all of you, I whispered. Haunts and all. Hugs in the cold, PAC solidarity a bomb. Ryan faded, blocked for good. Theo in therapy, unpacking crates. Spring bloomed resilient. Our film won jury prize, tears on stage. Nolan's sequel pitched, Kai co-authoring. Dad visited NYC, Carla in tow, toasting brunches with mimosas.
Prou, son.
Summer road trip redux. East Coast this time, Acadia to Asheville, Impala upgraded. Stops at diners with pie a la mode. Beaches where we swam naked under moons. Marry me? Theo asked, not joking, on a Carolina porch swing. Not yet, I grinned. But soon. Alphas grow. We shed skins, emerge scarred but shining. In the rear view, Chicago shrank. But home? That's the heart you carry. Junior year hit like a freight, thesis deadlines looming. Theo's senior showcase, a pressure cooker. Our Bushwick nest frayed at edges. Takeout congealing on counters. Arguments over whose turn for dishes escalating to slammed doors. You're buried in code. I'd snap, his design software glowing accusatory. And you're married to that camera, he'd retort, lends a third wheel. Love's work, we'd remind ourselves. Make-up sex turning tender, reaffirming. Nolan's orbit tightened. His novel dropped, Shadow Pack. A graphic memoir of betrayal and redemption. Us thinly veiled as wolves inked in noir. Launch party at a Brooklyn bookstore. Shelves groaning under tomes. Fans queuing for signatures. Kai emceed, voice booming. To the alphas who taught us to howl. Theo and I posed for photos, arms slung, Nolan's eyes misty. You inspired the redemption arc, he confided later, over whiskey neat. But inspiration wanes. Ryan's ghost morphed. Not calls, but echoes in Theo's hesitations. Flinches at loud voices. Therapy helped. His counselor a no-nonsense dyke from the village, but progress stuttered. One night, post-argument over a forgotten anniversary, our road trip eve, he confessed, Ryan's why I push so hard, to prove I'm not broken. I held him, heartbeat sinking. Your mosaic, babe, beautiful cracks. The pack's annual retreat, Finger Lakes cabin, rented via Javier's connections. Fall foliage a riot, bonfires crackling Lakewood. Lena post-honeymoon glow, lead trust falls. Marcus sketched the group, charcoal smudging cheeks. Nolan arrived with Kai, bundles of comics as gifts. Games turned deep. Truth circles under stars, vulnerabilities spilled like wine. My turn. Fear I'm not enough. That you'll wake up, choose easy. Theo's hand found mine. You're the challenge I crave. Nolan's. Regret the hurt I caused. Still paying installments. Forgiveness rippled. Bonds reforged. Thanksgiving in Seattle, Nolan's turf. Rain pattering roofs. Kai's family embraced us. Filipino feasts of adobo and lumpia. Stories of immigrant grit mirroring our own. Dad FaceTimed. Carla waving. Their wedding set for spring. Bring the boyfriend, he gruffed. Milestone. Winter break, NYC's chill bit deep. Theo's showcase. Interactive install on queer urban myths. Our film embedded. Opening night. Gallery humming with critics in black turtlenecks. Theo's speech cracked. This is for the alphas who built me. Pack. Past. Present. Ryan unmentioned but exorcised. Post-party, walking the High Line, snow-dusting rails, he proposed for real. No ring. Just knees and slush. Words raw. Alex Rivera? Be my co-alpha? Forever. Tears froze on lashes. Yes. God, yes. Words spread wildfire. Pack Zoom erupted, Nolan whooping, Javier popping virtual champagne. Dad's call. Stunned silence. Then, congrats, kid. Invite attached. Spring wedding fever. Venue hunt in Chicago. A loft in West Loop with skyline views. Invites hand-stamped, wolves howling. Nolan best man. Speech scripted in verse. Lena officiating, vows co-written. But climax coils. Rehearsal dinner. Gage's pub. Toasts flowing. Ryan crashes. Uninvited. Gaunt from rehab. Eyes fever bright. Heard the news. He slurs, bottle in hand. Theo, we need to talk. Before you chain yourself. Security hauled him, but damage bloomed. Theo bolted to the alley, hyperventilating. I followed, rain starting. He's gone, I soothed. But he finds me, Theo gasped. Always. Nolan joined, face thunder. I invited him, thought closure. Stupid. Betrayal redux Nolan's help a grenade. Why? I demanded. To end it. For Theo. For you. Theo straightened. Fire rekindled. No more puppeteering, Null. We handle our ghosts. The night dissolved in tears. Rain lashing. Ryan's words festered. Wedding Eve vigil. Theo paced our hotel shadows long. Call it off.
Hell no.
I pulled him down, bodies aligning. We face it together. Dawn wedding. Loft aglow. Chicago waking golden. Pack-filled seats. Javier's team in suits. Marcus's art as backdrop. Dad walked me. Arm steady. Carla dabbing eyes. Nolan, redeemed, stood tall. Speech weaving our tapestry. Betrayals as threads strengthening weave. Vows? Theo's voice steady. I choose you, cracks and all. Alpha to my omega, heart to heart. Mine. In storms and silences, your home. Rings exchanged. Simple bands. Engraved. Pack forever. Kiss sealed. Cheers erupted. Skyline winking approval. Reception raged. DJ spinning Motown mashups. Cake three-tiered with wolf toppers. Nolan danced with Kai. Forgiveness in every twirl. Dad cornered Theo. Hurt him. I'll bury you in Lake Michigan. Grin followed. Bonding. Honeymoon, Amalfi whispers, but we chose Route 66 Redux, Impala purring west. Stops revisited. Memories layered. Grand Canyon vow renewal under stars. Rings glinting. Back east. Life layered. My thesis film. Extraordinarius. Premiering Sundance, Theo's designs scoring it. Nolan's sequel hit lists tour with Kai. Pack scattered but tethered, group chat pinging daily. Years folded, Brooklyn brownstone, our names on the deed. Adoptions talked, kids with our grit. Dad's retirement party, Carla's ring sparkling. Betrayals? Scars, not shackles. Alphas evolve, packs endure. In the quiet, Theo's hand in mine. I know. Love's the ultimate hook. Epilogues aren't tidy, but ours unfolded like a well-cut reel. Montage of milestones. Fades to black on hard-won peace. 5 years post-vows, Brooklyn's our canvas. Brownstone in bed-stewy. Stoop lined with basil pots. Theo's studio spilling graphics onto fire escapes. My directorial debut streams on an indie platform. Alpha's saga expanded. Nolan consulted on panels. His novels fueling the lore. The Pax diaspora. Javier heads a Chicago youth center, coaching queer kids to courtside dreams. Lena's trilogy tours Europe, wife in tow. Marcus's murals grace MoMA walls, commissions from LA starlets. Nolan and Kai parented first. Twin boys adopted from foster care, wild curls and endless questions. Uncle Alex duty. Nolan texts, photos of chaos. Theo and I, slow burn to family. IVF roulette, surrogacy stars aligning. A daughter, Elena, named for Lena's fire. Dark eyes like Theo's, my dimples. Her laughter echoes mornings. Tiny hands smudging our sketches. Dad dotes, Milwaukee weekends grilling with Carla. Stories of mom woven in. Ghosts? Ryan's a footnote, last sighting, clean in Portland, sponsoring others. Theo's book, Unchained. A quiet release. Memoir of breaking cycles. Proceeds to crisis lines. No drama, just healing. Anniversaries ritual. Rooftop recreations, rain or shine. This 5th, Chicago calls. Full pack reunion, West Loop loft echoing our wedding. Nolan toasts. To betrayals that birthed us stronger. Laughter cascades, Elena toddling between legs. Night falls, city humming. Theo pulls me to the edge, skyline eternal. Still extraordinary? Always. Kiss deepens, world fading. Fade out. Alphas not by birth, but choice. In America's sprawl, from Southside stoops to Brooklyn stoops, we howl our truths. Human, heartbroken, whole.